Good morning, boys and girls. I'm back for day 2 of our reading lesson. We read a book this week about a duck on a bike, and we're going to reread that story in a couple minutes. But before we do, we're going to talk about a couple words. These words are both about our story. This word is wheels. And in our unit that we're in right now, we've talked about transportation in different vehicles, and most of our vehicles have wheels. They're round. They're the way that a lot of our movement takes place in a car or a truck or a train or a bike. Lots and lots of things that we can use to go from place to place, and they all have wheels. The other word that we have is kind of long. That word is adventure. Let's clap that together. Adventure. 3 syllables. Adventure. An adventure is something that you do that's a lot of fun, like that you're really excited about. A lot of times it's something new. If I'm going someplace new and maybe I don't even know exactly where I'm going, like when I'm driving, I'll go, "We're on an adventure." That means we're ready to have a good time even if things don't work out exactly the way we thought they would. So your adventure might be going on vacation, it might be going to the park, it might be going to the zoo, lots of different things. So in our story, our duck went on an adventure. We're going to look at a chart and see how we can talk about our adventure and how it worked in the book at the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story. So I have made a chart, and it says, "Who rides a bike?" Okay? So this is going to talk about the characters in the story. Who was in the story that was on an adventure riding the bike? Who was on the bike at the beginning of the story? Do you remember? Yes, it was Duck at the beginning of the story. B for beginning. Duck was at the beginning of the story on an adventure riding the bike. Do you remember who was next riding the bike? It was that group of kids, right? It was kids. I was thinking it was all boys, but you know what? I don't think it tells us that. We'll have to look when we read it today. So Duck was first, he was the beginning. Kids were next, so that was the middle. What's left? It is the end of the story. Who was on an adventure at the end of the story? All of those animals. Let's see if we can remember them. There was a horse. We don't have to remember them in order. There was a cow. How about a sheep? A dog. And a cat. And a goat. And a chicken. Let's see if I remember them all. I'm going to look at my book just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I forgot one. Do you remember what it is? There were 2 of them. Pigs, yes. We forgot the pigs. All right, so we have horse, cow, sheep, dog, cat, goat, chicken, and pig. So in the next part of our lesson, we are going to read the story and talk about some of the animals and how they thought. And we're going to talk about the setting of the story and also the plot of the story. And what the plot means is what's happening in the story. Okay? We've talked about beginning, middle, and end. Now the plot is what's happening in the story. What makes it a story? So, I'll be back in just a minute.